Breaking down the Arizona Wildcats' 28-14 win over Texas Tech. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, not exactly the scoring fest that we all thought that it was going to be at the stadium on Saturday night. And I kind of had an inkling just watching their game against UTEP that, this offense, though it was greatly talked about, might not be that type of offense that was going to come in here and put up 40 to 50 points. But with the way the U of A defense had played, you never really knew what to expect in this game. We saw the return of what I like to call the 3-3-5 unstacked, going back to the Rich Rodriguez days, because the linebackers weren't stacked, Glenn. They were coming from the sides, and boy, did that work for Arizona.
Well, Dave, I would have lost my house because I thought that, we're going to score, they're going to score 50, or we're going to have to at least score 50 points. But you know what? Their defense had a great scheme. They came off the edges. We had more push from the front. Trayvon Mason and Tapasoa played really good. Got movement in the front, and then that squeezed the edge, and we did a good job.
Well, and that's really, I think, Glenn, the reason that this new look transpired, because as you know, when I break down the games, I make a line for every player that does something good or does something bad. In the first two games, I had not made a single line for those defensive tackles, Trayvon Mason and Miles Tapasoa. Finally, I had a chance to make a line for Trayvon Mason in this ball game, but it was because of the fact those first two games, they really didn't do much. I think, when you looked at Marcel Yates, he looked at his defense and said, I've got to get more of my best players on the field, and one of those guys is Anthony Pandy.
Yeah, Anthony Pandy played great. I think he did a great job of just tacking the ball. I mean, this kid was going just 100 miles an hour, just getting to the ball. I think he had great instincts. And then also with Pandy, we got to not forget Fenton Conley. Fenton Conley played a great game. I thought he really got penetration, was clogging up the run, and doing a great job.
And there was a freshman out there we hadn't seen before, Keon Barnes.
Yeah, I had to look him up on my iPad.
True freshman down there on the defensive line.
And he played well. He played well with a lot of energy.
And you go back to that Hawaii game, and I think one of the things we talked about after that ball game, Glenn, was just the soft coverage, the defensive backs not being physical. We saw more physical defensive backs. I was a little scared. The first pass play of the game, they let that little slant route, which we had mentioned on Friday, go, but then it got better from there. Christian Roland Wallace early on in that ball game showed his physicalness, and then we saw an excellent game from Lorenzo Burns, and then there was that one play in the third quarter where Jace Whitaker just laid the kid out on him.
I really liked our physicalness that we had in that game. I thought we came out with just grit. I think that's what we have to do. That's what our defense has to be going forward. We have to be very physical with receivers to make sure that they understand that they can't get that slant, they can't get the dink and dunk, because that's what everybody was doing to us. So we have to be physical, and we were definitely physical Saturday night, and Texas Tech felt it.
All right, they felt it all right. There was a slew of their guys. We thought, it was all about. Yeah, exactly. It was in the fourth quarter. It was like they were picking up guys off the surface.
And our guys, and I had a conversation with Brian Johnson before the game, and Brian said that, hey, I go, how are our guys? He goes, we're peaking, man. We're feeling good. We're strong. We're getting stronger than we've ever been. We've been, we're in great shape, and they were ready to go. And I talked to him for about 20 minutes, and I was all excited, jacked up about that, because he was just saying that how strong these guys are getting.
All right, let's flip it back over to the offensive side of the ball and just the running game by the Arizona Wildcats. And that was one of the things you thought was important going in, is the ability to run the football. J.J. Taylor went down in the second quarter, an injury that did not look good. He came back, though, and played a few plays after that, and I'm hoping that there's nothing more serious with that. But again, the depth of the running back position showed, because J.J. wasn't 100%, but Gary Brightwell and Bam Smith came in. Michael Wiley got a few carries. All three of those guys did the job.
They did a great job, and that's where I feel comfortable with all our guys that we have in the backfield, is that they continue to step it up, man. You get an opportunity. A lot of times you get a fall off when somebody, at certain programs they get a fall off. This guy gets another, he's not going to be as good as the first guy. But our guy, man, they're just pushing each other. So I really like the aggressiveness, the way they're running, and the guys up front. Give me kudos. You're player of the week. You're players of the week.
Players of the week.
Players of the week, because they just beat up their front four, man.
I mean,
when
you talk about a 99-yard drive, you run the ball 13 straight times. This goes back to what I was talking about at the Arizona State game last year, and all the people that wanted to say, what the heck were they doing with the play calling in the fourth quarter? This is how you win football games. Exactly. Running 13 straight times in the fourth quarter to salt away a victory.
And you know the thing is, Dave, is that I've been around for 30 years. I've never seen us do a 99-yard or a 90-yard drive with all running plays. I've been saying it all the last 3 games. Force our will on these guys. Just put it to them. Put it to them with our big offensive line, and we just handled them. I was so happy to watch that.
The thing I liked about Khalil Tate's 84-yard touchdown run was when he kind of saw the 2 defenders and he found that second gear and said, I'm just going right. Rather than maybe splitting to the side and maybe going out of bounds, he just said, I'm going right to the house.
Yeah.
I liked the decision-making in his mind. That told me that he's healthy now. He's got confidence in what he's doing out there when he's running the football.
Yeah, and he's making better selections on his runs, man. He really is making better selections. He's known when to run and when to just run out of bounds. He's doing a better job of that. But Khalil has got so much room to get better. He does. His passing is not as good as I think it should have been. But we can get better. And when he gets better, our team's going to be a lot better.
And I thought, to me, the biggest play offensively in that game was the 16-yard run on 3rd and 14 from inside the red zone. Because if you have to punt there, down a point, and give them a short field, that could have been a whole different ball game. And that run there kept that drive alive. They went down and scored to take the lead. I mean, that was a big play offensively.
Huge play. And that goes for the offensive linemen, too. The offensive linemen, our guys up front were running around putting hats on hats. I just really is excited about what Kyle Devine is doing with our offensive line. They're just playing well. And I got to understand, these guys have had a different coach, three different coaches, and they keep on getting better.
It was something to see for sure. Okay, we've got a bye week coming up. UCLA, which is not a very good football team right now. You'd almost like to keep playing, but I like this bye here to get some guys healthy. Like we mentioned, JJ at the top. You've got UCLA coming here, and this is a game where you really, again, have to go out and establish your dominance right away. You can't let UCLA think that they've got a shot in that, a week from Saturday.
Yeah, I hope UCLA maybe gets a win before before they come over our place. But at UCLA, we just got to enforce our will on them. Just really run the ball. I see us just pounding the ball against them and then passing when we have to.
Yeah, I think if there was any units that didn't grade out well, probably the special teams. Still some work to do there with the punting as well, and you can't miss extra points. And the field goal was a long one, but he had the distance to make it, and you got to be able to make those big kicks. A lot of game balls to hand out, like you said, from the offensive line to Lorenzo Burns, and I think the running game. I would even, again, like you said, Khalil was up and down, but I still think just the way that he was able to make big plays when he needed to make big plays, and just the linebackers, as we mentioned earlier, Tony Fields and Colin Schooler were back making an impact, and that's what we need. We need them making impactful plays, not just tackles, but making impactful plays defensively.
And also, there was a couple plays that happened in that game. Drew dropped a touchdown, but he came back and he caught that 10-yard out that he caught that got us a first down that kept the ball moving. That was critical time. That was a critical catch that he came back, forgot about what was going on, of that catch, and came back and made that catch. That was a great catch.
All right, we get another week off. How about that? As we get the second bye week of the season. I like this kind of schedule right here. And we'll be back and we'll get you set for the UCLA Bruins. That'll be a week from Saturday.